So the objective of today's class, we are going to learn how the water is stored below the ground. Okay, what is the importance of storing? You all are in Vellore. Okay, now it is not raining. And how many days it is raining? Maybe 3 months, and out of that maybe 2 weeks or maybe 30 days only it is raining. But still, how do you manage our daily demand of water? It is through the groundwater. So if we have river, we will take water from the river. But we have river, but it is non-perennial. What do you mean by non-perennial? It won't be flowing throughout the year. Okay, so it will flow whenever there is rainfall. So only we depend on the groundwater. Okay, so now how this groundwater is getting in? Because it is raining for 3 months, but remaining 9 months we depend on that groundwater only. So we have to know how it is getting in. Okay. So now you are just new term it is given, aquifer. Within that only it is getting stored. So again, what is aquifer? Can you give some example for geological formation? I will give one example. Okay, rock. It is one geological formation. Can you give some other example? Geology, we know, we are just seeing earth. Rock is one. Other than that, what you are seeing on the land? Stones. Then minor part? Pebbles, sand, clay. All these are geological formation only. Do they all have the capabilities to store the water? No. So the formation which is capable, the geological formation which is capable of storing the rainwater is called as aquifer. Okay, so in that also you have many types. Example, sandstone. Though it is written as stone, it has many pores within that. Whenever it rains, this stone will absorb the water. And we all have seen near the river, the sand. Okay, that is called as alluvium. Near any water body, you have good type of geological formation where it can store more amount of water. So alluvium, it's a type of aquifer, but if it is located near the water bodies. Okay, then basalt. It is also another type of geological formation, but it is called as aquifer. Now we know what is aquifer. So that's all. That is what given here. Groundwater occurs in any geological formation. Aquifer is one of the important geological formation. So it contains sufficient saturated permeable material. These are the example. Okay. So that is aquifer. Now in this you have two types of aquifers. Okay. One is unconfined, other one is confined. Because when it is raining, it is just passing down and it is getting stored in the pores. And if any clay, it won't be stored. It can be stored, but whenever you want to put a well, even we can drill a well in the clay, but you cannot withdraw water from it. Okay, so that is called aquiclude, another geological formation. So like that. So now type of aquifer, unconfined means you can remember maybe your cake, birthday cake you are getting, no? At the bottom you will have one cardboard, something like that. Okay, you assume that as a plastic one, and above that we have our cake. Okay, that cake has many pores. That is our aquifer. Whereas the plate under that, it doesn't have any pore. Okay, so now I will come to aquifer. Unconfined means aquifer is underlined by a impermeable layer. That is called as unconfined aquifer. Okay, so at the top it can absorb the water, whereas at the bottom it will be like a solid rock. That is one kind of aquifer type. Another type is confined aquifer. Okay, the same example you can remember. At the bottom also we have the solid plate. In the middle we have aquifer. At the top also we have a solid plate. Now it is confined between two impermeable layer. So from the English term confined, unconfined. So just it is pressed. Okay, bottom is impervious layer and I have my porous aquifer, our cake, and above that I have another impervious layer. Okay, this is called as confined aquifer. Okay, now my question is, maybe now it is raining. This is also solid impervious layer. How water will get into this confined aquifer? Can anyone tell? This is like this. Aquifer is, it can store good amount of water. Okay. Now how water will get into this aquifer when it is confined between two impervious layer? So maybe if you see here, this is aquifer. Okay. This is impervious layer, this is impervious layer. But this aquifer is somewhere open to the atmosphere. Maybe now we are in Vellore. The impervious layer is at the top. Below that you have an aquifer. That aquifer may be open in the Bangalore also. Okay. So there it will rain in the Bangalore. Here first what I do? I drill the top impervious layer and then drill even the aquifer. Then we can pump out the water from the confined aquifer. This is how water is getting into confined aquifer. Thank you.